Welcome back to another episode of Proof of Vision with Aliyah Research. Today we had on Goat Network. For those that don't know, Goat Network is a Bitcoin L2. It's an EVM compatible Bitcoin L2 actually, with some interesting things both live and in the pipeline for user acquisition and onboarding capital. So yeah, between the two guests, we got to hit on all cylinders. Basically, we got to break down the kind of broad vision behind Goat Network and their decision to take a more decentralized signature approach from day one, as well as the more technical architecture behind Goat and its implementation of BitVM and now BitVM 3 actually. We discussed the Goat token as well, the native Goat token, and the team's thought process behind rolling that out, TGE, airdrop, all that stuff. We also spent a lot of time discussing the Goat flywheel, right, for the chain, both at the protocol layer, where users can access, some native yield denominated in BTC, with a floor of around 2% for the native basic staking, and then scaling all the way up to 10% plus, right, on the protocol layer side, and then on the application layer, which we discussed as well. There's of course more opportunities, more optionality, different ways for users to earn more and make use of their capital, right? So the team has an interesting approach to risk-adjusted returns, like meeting users where they are with different risk profiles, right? Providing more options for all sorts of users, and then also differentiating their applications into earn and then play apps, right? So earn being, more DeFi focused things, more like capital intensive ways to earn, and then play, which is kind of like games, right? Ways for people to pretty much exchange time, for a chance to win, a set of pooled rewards, pretty much. So it's an interesting differentiation that a lot of chains don't take, and we got into it all in this episode. Have a listen. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Proof of Vision with Aliyah Research. Today we have the guys on from Goat. So we have Kevin here, core contributor at Goat, and we also have Professor Redouane, chief economist. Maybe do you guys want to give a quick background on yourself? Kevin, you want to maybe start us off?
Thanks, Daniel, for having us. Thanks for the research team. My name is Kevin. I'm the core contributor of Go Network. Actually, I entered into the crypto industry since 2018. When one of my friends introduced crypto decentralization DAO to me, and I found it very fancy. And then my friend became my co-founder. We started Ethereum layer 2 scaling solution called Metis, which launched the mainnet since 2021. And we were one of the first, Ethereum layer 2 scaling solution at that time. And we brought up to 200 times return to our early backers. So based on that success, we actually look into what's the future going to look like. And then we found that zero knowledge proof actually is something very fundamental, and it can connect with every chain to solve the biggest issue in this blockchain industry, which is fragmentation of liquidity. So we started to build a very fundamental zero knowledge virtual machine, and eventually we were looking for use cases for the zero knowledge virtual machine, and we found that Bitcoin actually needs ZKP more than anyone else because it cannot scale by itself. It needs some off-chain computation, off-chain solution to make it scalable. So that's why we founded Go Network. It's layer 2. It's a layer building on top of Bitcoin. We hope to scale Bitcoin to bring more use case to Bitcoin ecosystem to make Bitcoin flow. That's pretty much my past background. I stop here. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Professor Redouane, just give the listeners a brief background.
Hi, everyone who's listening, who will listen in the future. My name is Redouane Elkamhi. I'm as the name professor. I'm indeed a professor at the University of Toronto. I've been there since 2011, and before that I was a prof at the University of Iowa. That was my first placement as a prof. I'm a finance professor who was an engineer before turning finance, and that's why when Bitcoin shows up, when you combine my original thinking, my original degrees, which is electrical engineering and cryptography, and then the economic background, I started in 2013, 14 thinking about, oh, this is cool, let's study it a little bit more. And I kind of initialized the first course in the University of Toronto that studies actually the blockchain from the economic standpoint. I was interested into these things from knowledge only, not business at that time. But meeting people, starting to think about it, starting to think what it's going to do, it's quickly turns out to be something I really need to be hooked into it even more. It has been fantastic experience so far. I've met Kevin even at the Metis time. I was a consultant at that time. We're both in Toronto, which makes the connection easier. And then when this idea shows up, building a BTC native ZK rollup, and I think now it's, even if we say some acronyms, I think every users can go have ChatGPTs and other things. They can easily know every item. But the idea was, look, this is something cool now. I think the world is going to be embracing this technology more and more. And Bitcoin is the king, and we need to build something that makes the Bitcoiners thrive more, makes money more, become more useful. And this is really what we're working on for the last couple of years, is basically a ZK rollup, a Bitcoin native ZK rollup. And I will explain the details as it comes.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into the details on the architecture. Yeah, as you mentioned, I think definitely, especially Bitcoin and like crypto as a whole, yeah, it's like a combination, intersection of like the, yeah, like tech and finance, especially, yeah, if you have like, individuals with the like academic background in both of these fields. Yeah, it's like kind of like a perfect
By
place
chance. I didn't
to end
plan
up,
it, just by chance.
some would say. Yeah. So I think we have a good, very solid background on both of you guys. So now let's go more protocol wide. Yeah, we can start discussing the GOAT network. So for those unfamiliar, I mean, as this is posted, we'll have some resources to accompany this podcast as well. But yeah, for those who are unfamiliar, how would you explain GOAT network? And then can you maybe explain like the more overarching vision behind GOAT network?
Yeah, I can start. Maybe Professor can, Yeah, just as I mentioned, Go Network actually is a Bitcoin native secret rollup. But in a nutshell, it's actually building a layer on top of Bitcoin. Just like an expressway to make Bitcoin scale more, so we can have more traffic happening on Bitcoin network. The more transactions will bring more, gas revenue, not only to the layer 2 ecosystem itself, but also can benefit the whole BTC ecosystem as well. As we see, there are pretty much 98% of the BTC are either not mined out or still hold in people's cold wallet. Although I understand everyone hopes to benefit from the price appreciation of Bitcoin, but if there's no use case for Bitcoin, there's no flow for Bitcoin. The whole network's security assumption gonna be corrupt. So I think that's the reason for Go network for the layer 2 to exist. We hope to bring more utility to get BTC flow into different ecosystem. Of course, yeah, Go network is building this native ZK rollup, which means we can inherit the native security from Bitcoin, and people can benefit from the native BTC yield on Go network as well. Yeah.
I think I have not much to add except
Thank you.
From a user perspective, like if you think of it as an investor, you now have one business use. Keep your Bitcoin in your wallet and hope, as we all hope, and we think it's going to increase in value at some point for sure. I'm almost having certainty about it if the Bitcoin stays secure, which will be if there is a lot of transaction and there is incentive for the miners to exist and for the miners to invest in new transactions. To have these transactions, you need places for which to organize, to make this Bitcoin actually useful, and useful more than just a store of value. And this is really what GOAT's going to contribute to. For the last 2 years or 3 years, there has been a lot of word used of L2, L2, L2. I think what is important in this discussion, and I hope that your viewers will spend some time digging into, is the word when we say BTC native. BTC native or decentralized is key if you want to really make sure to introduce new users to the space, because there are many people who are never actually going to come to the L2s because they will never believe it. But if you want them to come in and to start using it, you need to that word BTC native, and you need people to make sure it is BTC native. Do they really inherit BTC security? At what frequency they inherit BTC security? At what cost they inherit the BTC security? If it's too expensive or it's infrequent, means there is no yield to give to anyone. It means for it to be sustainable, for the network to make sense for people to use it and to make some money, it has to be secure, and it has to be done at the cheapest cost. Well, that's a dilemma. You want security and you want it at the cheapest cost. And this is what I want every user to focus on when they want to go and play with using their Bitcoin, is are they really secure, and are they really going to be promised some reasonable yield, because the cost may be too much to secure it, and then basically they're going to get nothing out of it. That's kind of what I wanted to make, because there's a plethora of L2s. And if you just say L2, people just like, what do you mean? You're talking about 100. What do I really mean? And that I wanted people to just take two axes. Again, the academic side of me, Daniel, I'm sorry. Take two axes and then basically get security and cost of that security and plot them in there. And let's see, it is really secure. Or what do they mean by secure? Are they really inheriting Bitcoin security? Checkbox. Are they not? No. And if they inherit, at what cost they inherit? And if it's expensive cost, means you have nothing left to give to the users. That's what I want the people to think about, and to rank all this spectrum of L2s. And I think GOAT try to have an efficient security at the cheapest cost, and we thrive to become one of the leaders in this.
Yeah, for sure. I think great job framing that for the audience. So yeah, earlier Kevin, or you guys both actually touched on like the importance of the native BTC aspect, right? Denominated in BTC, right? It's not like some other token. And yeah, kind of even like the more theoretical side of things, like adding for BTC to be used beyond store of value, right? Whether it's like like in a corporate world, like adopting for treasuries, like denominating corporate treasuries in BTC, or even like maybe something like payments. So yeah, let's kind of like dive into the native BTC component a bit. Like, how does it work? Can you break it down for our users, and kind of like through this native BTC yield component, how does GOAT differentiate itself from, as you mentioned, it's a plethora of other L2s, right?
Mm-hmm. Actually, this is a common question that we got from almost all investors, all users. Where are your yields coming from? For GOAT, actually, it's the economic model combined with our technical foundation. I think we still need to start from the technical part to explain why it can bring the sustainable yield. We started from, as I mentioned, zero-knowledge virtual machine, which can produce the ZKP in a cost-efficient way. That's what Professor meant by low cost or economic efficiency in the zero-knowledge part. And then the BWM2 or BWM3, that's the environment that we're building, people can challenge, and then, to punish any, bad actors. These two parts, ZKVM and BWM2, BWM3, these two parts, form a very fundamental part to enable Go network to inherit the native security from Bitcoin. So people don't have to worry about their token, to be controlled by a third party. They can move in and move out trustlessly, permissionlessly. And it's based on one of an assumption. So, which means if there's just one, honest operator existing, you can take your money out back to your own, wallet. So, and these operator are open source or permissionless. So you can be that operator. You can then run the code to take your money back. So it means you can inherit the native Bitcoin security on-go network. So you don't have to worry about the security of your assets. And based on that, the layer 2 itself, the Go network itself, has to be decentralized as well. Otherwise, there will always be a third party on the layer 2 to control your assets. So that's why we implement the decentralized sequencer on Go network. So, there will be, a permissionless decentralized sequencers to run on the Go network to produce block, to, generate yield for its stakers. And, in this way, there's no, single party can control your assets on Go network as well. So you can see this is cohesive. The layer 2 itself is decentralized, and then we use CQVM and BWM2, BWM3 to inherit native BTC security on the bridge, on the protocol side as well. So in a nutshell, the Go network itself is totally decentralized, it's permissionless, it can inherit the native BTC security. And based on that, actually, the decentralized sequencer play a key role in driving the sustainable yield. Because as I mentioned, these sequencer nodes, they will produce block for Go network. For every block they produced, they can collect the gas fee, the MEV revenue, and the Go token mining rewards. So this sequencer node will be the revenue generator. And anyone, who, stake into the sequencer nodes will help the sequencer node to aid weight to, have high chance to produce the next block. And then they can get the revenue from that block production. So then this economic model will become more interesting, which is more transactions, more block production, more gas fee revenue, and then the BTC stakers on each sequencer node can get higher yield. Based on our calculation, if the system on Go network we have 2,000 BTC locked into the sequencer node, and if the TPS, which is transaction per second, can reach 2, the overall yield from this staking can reach 6 to 8%, and part of it is denominated in BTC because the gas fee on Go network is charged in BTC. So yeah, that's the whole economic model. It's based on the technical foundation, and it's driven by the decentralization, decentralized sequencers. And the more transactions, more gas fee in BTC we collect, the higher yield can return back to the BTC stakers. Yeah, that's basically the logic.
This is almost like a risk. Sometimes it's also useful to say what is not, to explain what is something, it's what is not something. And usually when you say, just to pick it up from the end, he said, okay, based on these two assumptions, is 6%. Well, what if I tell the users or the listeners this? Well, you're making 6. But now go and compare it with a wrapped BTC. What if you take way more risk? You're going somewhere else, you're basically not secure, or you're going to a system that is not decentralized, and you bear the cost of a 1-point failure. And now in that case, or what if actually you claim that you have BTC native security, but you only claim it once every 24 hours? Because you only report to BTC every 24 hours. And between the 24 hours, finality is not done on the BTC network. Finality is done in another network. Like what I'm asking the users when they hear the word 6%, let's build the block. If you accept 6% at the minimum risk at BTC security, then how much you should really ask? If you're actually now dealing with a centralized network, or dealing with a network that is actually only have finality on L2, not L1. Is it 16? Is it 20? Is it 30? This is what people have to start doing, which is risk-adjusted returns. When we say 6%, what Kevin said 6% based on those assumptions, or 7 or 8, he's talking about inheriting Bitcoin security, using the latest technologies to do it, and making sure you have the 1N assumption. And that's actually what is the key to remember. That's almost like a floor of returns, which actually now in our network, you can double it down and go up and up and up and up, depend really where you're going to take that. If you want to take more risk, basically, or restake it, or you doing something else, that return gets up and up and up. I just build on what Kevin was saying. And sorry, guys, if you're hearing some kind of bad noise, white noise in the network, maybe it's for me. Sorry.
All good, all good. Yeah, we'll get the editor to scrub that out. But yeah, I think a really good way to frame it. Yeah, setting a floor for yeah, kind of an expected return. You know, different people have different risk profiles. They have even different different assets, as you guys mentioned. Yeah, if you want to get involved with Raptor BTC, this carries like a different risk adjusted return profile, right? So I think that's a good segue to talk about the like the multi-coin POS side of things. So actually, like what besides Wrap BTC, like what other assets can people also stake on Go Network? And then what are some of the implications
I want to start this one,
of
and Kevin, you can jump in, because I forgot to mention something about decentralization, because recently I think we went into this for like 2 years, and in the beginning some people were actually centralized and started, oh no, now we have to say decentralized is probably better, and I'm trying to say we actually been decentralized since the first day actually we started Goat. And it's not easy to operate decentralized sequencers. I'll tell you, technically it's not easy. We have levered, because remember when Kevin was actually introducing himself, he was talking about Metis. Metis was actually the first also to operate decentralized sequencers before. It means think about this. We leveraged all, the way we think at Goat is we want to be an adaptive technical team. If there is really good ideas, we inherit them. We actually not racist against any technology. Give me a great idea, I'll pick it up and I build on it. And we know that the best technology is not today. The best technology will happen probably 4 years later. And if we're not nimble today, we can never adapt to the best technologies coming up. This is what we said to ourselves. The best way to do it is to learn also for what we did in Metis. And basically, we learned how to operate decentralized sequencers. Decentralized sequencers for us was since day one. And it goes into that we're going to be whitelisted. And after whitelisted, we're going to open up to more and we're going to open up to more. But the aim is to be completely decentralized. Now, why did I even started with this, with decentralization? Because it is actually the core. You can't say inherit. You cannot have a BTC that is the core and the king of decentralization, and you build something centralized on the top and you call it, I'm BTC native. Dude, come on. People are not blind, but it is a minimum that you need to have. And I want the user to know that the proof is in the pudding. You can't be yesterday centralized and today decentralized and you operate. It takes time to learn all these technical stuff and gets gets the oil and done with decentralization, which is the core of what we have. And then generally you ask about the multi-coin. Why did I mention this? Because now become not only you can stake in a centralized party one asset, which let's call it Bitcoin, we allow multi-staking, we allow Doge to stake. I'll give you, and this is maybe Kevin and I have different views, and this is the beauty actually one. To me, the point of choosing this different coins is like they have different values. We are BTC native because we inherit BTC security. We don't inherit Doge security. We believe that the BTC security is the best, but that's one thing. Now, whatever asset you have, you can do your proof of stake for that asset. Your proof of stake can be you have gold, you have silver, you can put gold, you can put silver. Gold is BTC, silver, let's say, is Doge. Why do we choose Doge? We choose Doge first for actually two reasons, in my opinion. And I will let you, Kevin, jump in on this if you have. I think you come up with this idea, but I kind of love it so much because if you recall, Doge has no other business case. It's basically a meme coin that was there for a long time. It has a strong community. There is a strong community of Doge, has been there for a long time, but they don't have any business case than just hold it. And then we say, wait a second, what is the main things for our network? We need to generate transactions. The more transaction we generate, the more BTC we can share, and the more BTC we can share or token we can share, the more the yield gonna be higher. The more the yield is higher, the more people will come. How do I do it? How do I bring in more people? This would be, I think, the main thing. Doge community is a very tight community, and allowing Doge to be able to stake, you're bringing all these Doge community now to your network because that's the only business case that they have. And whatever transaction they're going to build in our network going to benefit both the Bitcoiners and the Dogecoiners. It means it's not just for Doge, but Doge going to help the Bitcoiners and the Bitcoiners going to help the Doge because we create an ecosystem for whatever have. And Daniel, just for your viewer, just think about it. I ask you to put something at stake, and then you put in some of your Bitcoin, you put in some of your Doge as gold and silver. And then at the end of the day, I'm going to share whatever revenue you have in your ecosystem, and I'm going to share it as a fraction of how much you put at stake. If you put one Bitcoin and one Doge, I'm going to share it proportional to how much value those things have at stake at that point. It means this is really the insight of it. We are the first that has a multi-coin staking protocol in a decentralized ecosystem. And I think I want the viewer to understand this. This is not just a freebies to the Dogecoiners. This is very interesting for Doge people, but it's also very interesting to the Bitcoiners because you bring in a community to share benefit and also contribute into transactions so that everybody else will share. That's the key. Kevin, please jump in. I like this. That's why I picked it up first.
Yeah. Also, I think Doge is aligned with our security assumption because we won't accept any assets into decentralized sequence. It needs to be highly decentralized and with high community consensus, also a high market cap. I think Doge fits it well. Also, we leave this open to the community. If the community votes to decide, let's say, they want to add PayPay into the signature node, if they accept, if they align with our security assumption, I think it will be accepted as well. So you will see many more practice coming out from this multiple, multi-coin POS model. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a very good way to break it down for the users. And yeah, as you mentioned, like it's a very Doge is like, I don't know, maybe for some people from the outside looking in, they might be thinking like, okay, Doge, BTC is like not, clicking. But yeah, I mean, this is one of the oldest coins with a very high market cap. Things like, yeah, actually, I think if you look at tokens or coins, yeah, like across cycles, to outperform BTC, like it's Ethereum, Doge, like that's it. Like BTC, ETH, Doge, like that's it. No other coin or token has, like the ability to withstand multiple cycles and kind of
I think if
be
you
relevant.
can tokenize gold, if you can tokenize gold,
As I mentioned,
accept gold. If you can
I
tokenize
like the way you
gold,
think.
I bring it up. Just bring it up and stake it because gold has 5,000 history. That fits the first channel of having long term, have a larger community, have a lot of consensus, and that's something that is important at stake. And will be a multi-coin, tokenize gold, Bitcoin, and Doge. And if Doge is only like a fraction of the value of the gold, doesn't matter. You're gonna get a fraction of the benefit of that. It's okay. It's all proportional to how much you put at stake. But as Kevin said, there is a large, strong criteria that the community has to agree upon before bringing one more at stake. But I'm not kidding to say tokenize gold, but I'm not opposed to it. It will be a unique thing to have, which is a real world asset.
Yeah, definitely. At this time, sort of like right now, stable coins are all the buzz. Okay, but yeah, maybe you have stable gold in the future. That could be interesting. Are there any other assets that you guys are thinking about for multi-coin POS, or kind of just like staying with Doge for now?
Yeah. As I mentioned, it might need to go through community voting, and then pass all these criteria. That so it's open. It's an open. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, if there's interest for it, like you guys mentioned, like staying agile over the years, adopting new technologies as they come out. But then the other side of that is like what users want. Yeah, as you mentioned, like user preferences also change over the years. Maybe a couple years ago, people there wouldn't be as much demand for this kind of thing. Okay, but today there actually is, and then maybe tomorrow, yeah. So there's another asset that maybe people didn't see clear demand for today. So yeah, I think it's a very good segment to break down the multi-coin POS side of things. So I think let's kind of like break down like segment the flywheel, I guess, right? So users see, okay, like, all right, we get it. The more asset stakes, like this is good. Okay, but how does this actually translate to higher and higher yields for users, right? So if you have to like explain to users as if they're five, like how does that, explain the flywheel that results in higher yields.
Okay, Kevin, you can continue, but I just wanted to go even more basic and I let you do the flywheel itself. Literally, like as easy as this. A user can today come into our GOAT network, okay? You have multiple sequencers to choose from. As of today, let's say we have 4. And what are you going to do? You can have, or let's just take 4 because it was just alpha mainnet. In mainnet, maybe 10, 20, whatever. You're going to go directly. Suppose you have BTC, or you have DOGE or have BTC-B, basically. You can just take those and stake in one of these sequencers that you want. Well, you're going to tell me, what do you mean sequencers you want? Well, you're also going to do your own research if you want to, and you're going to say these sequencers, this is important for the users. Centralization doesn't create value. Decentralization creates value through competition because these sequences are competing over stakers, and the more stakers they have, the likely they're going to make money. Because of that, they're going to share more. Keep that in mind. That's part of the flywheel. Competition across sequencers create value for the users through competing over the stakers. Means back again to the beginning, you have BTC or DOGE or BTC-B. You come in and you look into stake, let's say in sequencer 1. When I do that, Artemis in our network issue, let's say, users liquidity stake token, LSTs. And let's call them Art BTC, Art DOGE, Art BTC-B, and now you have those. It means the LST holder right now, which is you, the first users, gonna earn some reward from the sequencer, the decentralized sequencers, and you're gonna have some possibility to qualify for airdrops, and you're gonna have, and how you're gonna earn this reward, just to be clear. Oh, what reward I'm gonna earn, and at what currency I'm gonna earn it. Okay, I have chosen sequencers number 1. If sequencers number 1, let's say, have 30% of the sequencer staken, then any transaction that come to my network, 30% of the time, that sequencers may be chosen to basically take that transaction, validate that transaction, create the block, and earn some return out of it. And that return going to be transmitted to these people that stake with that sequencer. It means the revenue that gets actually given to the users that I talked about is sharing from the transactions that actually comes into the system. And what is the currency of pay? The currency that we pay is actually the BTC. It means we are not giving the users any token, only token. We're giving them BTC rewards, plus because they're staking, they're qualifying for airdrops, they're qualifying for other things that they will be able to generate point. That's point number 1. Everything I said, let's call it stage 1, not even the flywheel. User come in, choose the sequencers, earn reward, which is sharing the revenues on the network. Remember now that you have the LST, you can go in our network and choose, you can double your return by, let's say, I want to deploy my Art BTC that I mentioned, or Art DOGE or Art BTC-B, and I'm going to go to Oku, or I'm going to go to Goat Swap, and I'm going to become a liquidity providers. And by being a liquidity providers, you're going to double your returns in addition to what you're gaining as a sequencer reward. It means think about it as a multi-benefit. One benefit comes through decentralization because they compete to give you the higher yield possible. Second, you get the yield in Bitcoin and tokens. Third, you basically take all that tokenization, all that LSTs, and use it in a thriving network to generate more reward for yourself. Now, the more return you get, the more users come, the more users believe you're very secure. That's important, security. The more actually you'll be able to generate more transactions, and that's how it goes. More reward, risk-adjusted reward, because now you're secure. The more return comes, the more users, the more return. Than how I see it. Kevin? Hopefully I did it. I didn't get lost.
I think you explained well.
Right, I try to make it easy for everyone, but sometimes I get.
Yeah.
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 Oh, it's a good explanation. Yeah. So, yeah, as you mentioned, yeah, you're talking about, I mean, yeah, most L2s today, yeah, is, single sequencer model, and then you guys actually have, competition between multiple sequencers. So I think on the, like, when it comes to yield, okay, that's probably what a lot of users are most interested in, right? Like a good chunk of the audience will be interested in, right? They can get that base yield. And then, yeah, like qualifying for airdrops as well. And then, yeah, you have the application layer on top, which offers more, even more opportunities for yield. But I guess, yeah, we can discuss like the actual architecture of the Goat network as well. Yeah, can you guys maybe like fill me in and the audience a little bit on the, like you kind of talked about it earlier, but we can discuss it more, like the like implicit decision to be, fully decentralized from the start instead of maybe taking this like progressive decentralization approach. Yeah.
I can tell you. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
please.
start and then you, John. Look, I mentioned this word that I want the users to really honestly remember. We're not, okay, I may even start and I will say I'm not married to this technology. We are taking this decision for the last 2 years, and it's not really a simple decision. We are on the camp of the BitVM camp. BitVM, okay, let's just simplify for people. We are building, remember, Bitcoin is not programmable. You want to build something programmable to generate returns and generate transaction and get real world assets to come in and do things. You need something to be programmable. As long as you make it programmable, there are many choices you're going to go with. There are choices that are completely not secure, like you just build something like an island and sometimes you report to BTC. There are some ways you can say, look, I want a tight connection. I want a good plumbing. You think about it as a plumbing. I really want a good plumbing with BTC. I want to stick to BTC. You don't have so many choices. One choice is we need to change the code of BTC, that opcode. We are not that. Another choice will be, by the way, I'll tell you why we're not that. It's not because like we're not a team that is dogmatic. It's not a religion for us. It's not like the religion called no opcode and that's it. That's against the religion. No. The idea is not this. The idea is we finally, after 15 years or whatever, the industries is finally believing Bitcoin the way it is. Finally, we're getting all its attention by sovereign, by nation, by corporation. And you mentioned it, Danny, in the beginning, treasuries and finally, and then you're going to say, what you're going to do? You're going to change the nature of Bitcoin. You're going to create a flood of uncertainties. Then you don't want to touch it. Literally, this is really what we care about. We don't think that's a winning strategy, even though anybody who was a programmer like me say, well, it's okay. I can just upscale the code and it's okay. It's going to work. It's C, C++. Then I can do better than C. I can do Java. But it's not the case because now finally people like it because it's simplicity. And that's where its robustness stands. Because of that, we said we're not going to go the path of opcode. We have to go for the path that BTC has to be untouchable. But then you need to build something tight with BTC. There are still other solutions. There is some Collide VM. There is some BitVM. There is just multi-sig. We started with that. After studying these things, we think we're going BitVM so far. And I can tell you today in this call, if 2 years later, there is a cuckoo technology that come up that beat BitVM 3, we freaking gonna go cuckoo. I'm telling you. Because what matters is security to the users, not how, no, I want to be dogmatic and I'm going to stay with something. You have to stay on the top of technology if you want to be secure. The choice we've done is the following. We have been very at the forefront of the ZK. Because we have the ZKMA, we produce it ourselves. We are one of the best in the world in it. We have a lot of papers on it. And we say, building a ZK rollup, connect very well with the BitVM technology. And we're going to do the BitVM. We started doing BitVM 2. Think of BitVM Bridge, okay? BitVM Bridge is a way to scale Bitcoin without changing the code, and it's more of a challenging process, basically. I don't want to get... It's easy now these days to understand the details, as I said before, by just Googling it, but just for the analogy, for that bridging, we are choosing the path of BitVM 2. We wrote something about BitVM 2. In fact, we extend BitVM 2. I want this user to understand. When we implemented it, we realized it's actually not scalable. The BitVM2 was too costly. Remember when I said, Daniel, in the beginning, I said it has to be cost efficient. If I give you security, Daniel, and I ask you to pay me $1,000 for security, and at the end I have nothing to give you back. See what I mean? Because every money just went to give you security. If all the money I generated just pays for security, there's nothing to share. We realize it's not really very, very scalable because it's very costly. And the beauty of that, we actually started playing some economic thinking in order to make the BitVM2 scalable. We managed to do that. And guess what happened in the beginning of the summer? BitVM3 starts showing up. And we realize it's actually better than what we are doing. And we are the first who actually implemented a version of BitVM3 right now. The first. Why, Daniel? Because I said we're not married to any technology. We have to have a team that is keep reading what's going on. And even though we wrote papers, 3 papers, about how to make BitVM2 better, as soon as we show that something is actually better, we switch because we are on the forefront. I don't know if you're a coder, if you're really into it, it doesn't take you so much to switch because you actually live in the technology. You're not just copy paste from anywhere else. And this is, I think, what makes GOAT hopefully unique in this aspect is because we believe that technology is the forefront of this. We spend not so much time on it and so much effort and resources on it. And the technology at GOAT, just to back to your question, is decentralization so far with the BitVM3 bridge. BitVM3 bridge allows scalable finality on Bitcoin. And the ZK that is used basically to be transferable is actually our design. And we use ZK MIP for that. And we already have been proven to be one of the best 3 in the world. It means technology in a very nutshell, ZK developed by us, BitVM3 developed our implementation of it by us, which extended the BitVM2 that we are doing. Plus decentralization. Decentralization, ZK, and BitVM3 created finality on Bitcoin and created competition through decentralized sequencers. Hopefully it's clear. Kevin, you can go ahead.
Yeah. So I just want to add one point, decentralization for us, it's inherent into the whole, project's philosophy. Not only because we really, wants to build something to inherit the native BTC security, which the network itself needs to be decentralized. Otherwise, as I mentioned, there will be always a third party to control users' assets. I think we hope to inherit the ethos from Bitcoin, this core value as well. That's one part. Another part is that our economic model actually built on top of this decentralization. Without this decentralization, all this, BTC staking yield, native yield cannot exist. So that's why I think we start from fully decentralization since the very beginning. Not only, the technology selection, but also the economic side. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a great explanation. From both of you guys, kind of explaining the considerations and how, I remember when BitVM was first, as a concept, was first introduced, you had, multiple teams trying to kind of rushing to, build out their own implementation of it. And then now we're on, BitVM2, BitVM3. And I think you were talking about the opcodes earlier and how, actually we have our own solutions, this isn't going away. We have multiple teams competing in this space, just iterating. And at this stage, why ruin a good thing, right? BTC is, a very strong standard set for itself. So I think, it's a good discussion to have, a good way to frame it for something that is probably not at the top of most people's minds. You have a very, a core of people that are, constantly thinking about, Bitcoin only, but for the wider DeFi community that, maybe it's kind of back of mind for them, but it is still very important. So I think, we can spend a little bit of time touching on BitVM as well. What are some of the considerations for, you mentioned BitVM3 now. So kind of walk me through how you guys actually utilize BitVM to make Goat's vision basically possible in a way that wasn't really feasible before, I guess.
Oh, okay. Basically, this is for the users. I answered part of it in the beginning when I say BitVM. In a sense, it's a choice today to create a bridge using the BitVM3 technology, because the BitVM2 was not really the best choice, to be honest. But I wanted to emphasize this again. Maybe it's helpful to people, and I will answer your question on BitVM. At the end, users, when they come, they care about returns. I'm coming there. You said the word back of their mind, which is correct. I just want to tell them one thing. It's about risk-adjusted returns, guys. You go today, you can gamble with your money. You can make a lot of money or lose it all. It exists. Would you gamble? Let me ask the user who's listening to us, hopefully. If I tell you you have $1,000, and if you can gamble it, you can lose it all or make 10%, would you do that? You're not going to do that for 10%. You're only going to do that if you say, I can lose that. Okay, if I put 10,000, if I put 1,000 and I gamble with my money, at least I need maybe 10 times more, 5 times more. If not, I'm not going to do the gamble. What I'm trying to tell you, there is a risk-adjusted return. If I tell you you're not going to lose your 1,000, but you make 6% or 7%, then you say, okay, 7% compared to gambling is probably better, because at least I'm keeping my 1,000 intact anyway. This is what I mean by risk-adjusted return for people. We are spending so much talking about security, and not because we love security and we want to show off. We know a little bit about BitVM and BitVM3. Oh, you know what? We're implementing it. The only reason we're doing it is because we wanted to provide people with sustainable returns, not returns today, and then 2 days later, 3 days later, one party goes down and there's no finality. Basically, you have a network that doesn't report to Bitcoin. This is why we spent so much time choosing what technology we're building the bridge upon. The BitVM3 that you mentioned, that I mentioned, it has just been introduced probably 2.5 months ago. For the last 1 year, Goat has actually implemented a test net. The users can go and they can check a test net of BitVM2 using our specificities. It means BitVM2 is an article written by Linus. What's his last name? Linus something. Robin Linus. And it's a fantastic paper. We took it, we implemented it. We basically even now communicate with him on the foundation of it. But before that, we implemented it. We realized a little bit. And as he said, he said himself that that's actually very costly. And then what we try to do, we try to say, can we put all what we know about economics and using decentralization? This is very important for any hardcore Bitcoiners. If we had a centralized network, we can never implement a scalable BitVM2 because it becomes too expensive to do. But because we have decentralization, and the paper is there, it's a 42-page paper for anybody who want to read, we have implemented our own way, an economically efficient implementation of BitVM2, because we want to tell the users, do not worry, it's going to be security at a very cheap cost. By the time we finish it, and it's in testnet, we realize BitVM3 has a new breakthrough. And the new breakthrough is built on ZK. In a sense, I'll give you the analogy. In BitVM2, it used to be like you go to the judge and you have to flip on the paper. You have to convince them paper by paper is good. Tick, 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 look at this. Let's convince you. BitVM3, what it does, I just have to show you a pic. Let's say you build a building, Dalian. You build a big building. I don't need to go and inspect every building. You just take a picture of the building and you need to report that picture of the building in Bitcoin. And Bitcoin has to have a way to check that building is correct. It means it's very scalable. I don't need to bring the whole information, what screws I have used, what's this I have used. A picture of the building will be enough to check the finality on Bitcoin. And that's really what we realized Bitcoin 3 is more scalable, is more efficient. And when I say efficient, what do I mean for users? More risk-adjusted returns, because I can be secure, but I can be secure at a minimum cost. I don't want users to be technologically efficient. I don't want them to be engineers. Users are coming to make money. I just want to tell them that in order for you to make money in a safe way, we have as an infrastructure to deliver the best security at the cheapest cost. Do you see why we spend time talking about this? Because if you don't, you have two choices. Even not secure, and in that case, I'm asking the users to ask for 3 times returns. Don't ask for 20% or 30% because you're going to lose it all. And if it's secure, it has to be at the cheapest cost, because if it's not cheap, there's nothing to give to people. GOAT is trying to be nimble for one and one only reason. We want the technology that fits us, and we want it to be scalable and reasonably cheap so that there is enough reward left to the final user. I don't want to build GOAT just to claim we are good technology people. I want to build GOAT because I want to leave something to the users that is risk-adjusted correct for them. Hopefully that's a preach for technology and why we need a good technology.
Yeah, I think it was a very good spiel. Definitely hammered the point home on, for users, risk-adjusted returns. if it wasn't clear to you guys, but yeah, no, I think it's a very the pragmatic kind of approach. As you mentioned, at the end of the day, what is the purpose of implementing these different standards? It's to provide that yield for the users ultimately. And then I think we've talked a lot about the architecture and the yield at the protocol layer. I mean, we can talk more about actually I think the application layer as well. You guys have an ecosystem, right? Already, which is actually more, it's more than a lot of L2s can say. So kind of for someone that's all right, for an audience that's listening, they've never used Go Network before. Okay, they have an understanding of the architecture, the Go Network flywheel. So what can users actually do on Go Network today, and what are some of these additional opportunities beyond the base yield that we've established?
Yeah. So on Go Network, actually, we have over 30 dApps already deployed. Basically, we can categorize them into earn and play, two categories. For the earn part, just as you mentioned, we provide risk-adjusted, BTC-5 products to different risk profile people, like large institutions or BTC whales. If they still have concern over the BTC security, they can go to our BTC safe box, that product, which we will put a 3 months time lock onto their BTC, and then the experience is more like they deposit into the traditional bank for a fixed term, and then they can get a low yield because there's almost no risk. So no risk, low yield. I think that's fair. Currently, we can offer 2% to these safe box users, which they only need to lock their BTC in a time lock, 3 months is time lock. But if you want to try something more, let's say there's a very popular product on Go Network currently, which is Artemis Finance. That is the one that we use. The ecosystem choose to do the LST. People can lock their BTC into Artemis, and then Artemis can put their BTC into the sequencer node to earn the gas fee. For now, the TVL is around 3 million, and the APR is around 150%. And among these, 45% are in real BTC. For the rest are our own token mining rewards.
I want to emphasize 45% in BTC.
Yeah,
this is a way in real BTC, not other token. I just wanted to emphasize it because there's nowhere else you're going to get this return. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's good. We'll clip that, and I think
also there's
that's a good point.
Non-financial advice. We just want to introduce ecosystem projects, but this project is really fancy because there's no other way you can earn native real BTC yield, other than, on Go network. These are two, representative of the earn products, but also we also have, like Avalon, they enabled borrowing and lending on Go network. So you can see some DeFi expert can play something like, they borrow BTC from Avalon and then log into Artemis. So borrow has some yield already. And then when they put it into Artemis, they have double yield. So that's, some of the DeFi flywheel people can play. But basically that's the earn section. And for the play, actually, we have several pretty interesting, applications. The first one is Go Rocket. Yesterday, we saw over 10,000 transactions happening on Go Rocket, which is a very simple game. People bet on 2 times, 4 times, or 8 times, and then to see if they can win the prize. So
Transactions are paid in BTC. BTC is shared to the stakers. It goes to the sequencers. Sequencers get the yield. The yield is in BTC. Go ahead. I just wanted to connect when you said the 2000. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's good to tie.
Yeah. Another one
tie it back to the flywheel.
is an AI agent. It's called Satoshi Goat, which they combine AI agent with Formal 3D. The last one will win the whole prize pool. So, but you need to interact with AI to get that point. So it creates also another flywheel, people to interact with AI to create transaction on chain, and then they put the points into the pool so that, they hope to be the last one to win the whole, prize. So that's two very fancy, games that happening on chain. Other than that, we have pretty solid, dApps like the Uniswap. Their official version is on Go network, and we also have our native swap called Go Swap, which is from the Spooky Swap team. There's some other, restaking or perps already, on the network as well. You can go to, our ecosystem page to explore. But basically, earn, play, generate transactions, sharing the rewards to all the users. Yeah, that's what we are doing.
Yeah, I think that was a very good explanation of things. Yeah, earn and play. It's like a good way to frame it, right? Like I think a lot of chains don't. Yeah, it's like a unique focus for those kind of like games, but you can earn like everyone knows what they're doing, right? Like they're kind of trading their time for a chance at those pooled rewards. So yeah, I think that's pretty interesting. But yeah, I mean, while we're on the topic of like what rewards, right? You guys alluded to earlier, like the airdrop. So I think we'd be remiss if we didn't discuss a little bit about the token. So as much as possible, like maybe you can't share everything, which is fine, of course. Yeah, like kind of explain to me the considerations around the native GOAT token. Like, so we spent a lot of time on this podcast talking about sustainable BTC yield. Like, okay, like on these applications you can get 40% BTC yield. Okay, so how does the native GOAT token fit into all of this? Fit into the greater flywheel.
So first,
if you will.
Go Network is our POS chain, so it has its own consensus. Although it serves as a layer 2. So this part you need a native token to secure the network. So that's why we have GOAT token to exist as the first place. And this GOAT token can also work as a booster for the yield. So in the sequencer staking pool, we accept BTC, we accept Doge, and also GOAT. And the GOAT staking will increase the weight for you to get more yield from the sequencer pool. So it can act as a yield boosting. Other than these two, it also acts as the sequencer mining rewards and the governance, of course. So that's basically the main utility of GOAT token.
I can even add one more. even remember we have decentralized sequencers. And when there is transaction, there is a way to choose how is that one of the sequencers getting chosen in order to badge this transaction and validate it? We call it boost sequencer probability. The more goated token you have staked, the more likely also you will get chosen as a sequencer to operate the transaction. That's connected to what Kevin told. Boost in return is more if you actually have to, you're going to enhance the return, but here you enhance the return implicitly by getting chosen as a sequencer to operate that transaction.
Yeah, I think it's a good explanation. And yeah, we'll definitely be, covering things on the token side as more information comes out. So I think, yeah, we're coming up, on the 1 hour mark. Don't want to take up too much of your guys' time. So is there any, for the listeners, right? Is there anything, coming up in the near future that you want to emphasize? Anything you want to leave our audience with to maybe look forward to?
Yes, I think, first, I believe a lot of community members are, interested in our upcoming, TGE, which is we are still planning and talking with different exchanges to make it happen. So we will release information when we have more, confirmation coming out. That's for one. And for the ecosystem side, I believe the growth is still our key, theme and key methodology. How to drive more users, more dApps into the ecosystem, so we can have more transactions and bring more high yield. So you can expect a lot of new dApps, new TVLs coming into the ecosystem. And the third part, I think, is about the community engagement, campaign. Currently, we have wrapped up the One Piece campaign season 2. The team has got a lot of feedback from community and request for another season. So we're actively, planning for season 3, which we hope to be the last one before TGE. And there will be a lot of different activities people can engage and to earn points and and other rewards. We have collaborated with Cattle for the the Yapper campaign. So we have seen a lot of engagements, and this engagement actually bring a lot of transactions on chain. People are trying our network, writing some user guide or some something they get from the experience. So that campaign will continue, and we I want to emphasize we allocate 1% total supply to these yappers. Although this is not for one time, but it will last for 6 months. But that's a huge portion of the rewards gonna be giving away to the yappers. So we hope there will be more community engagement, more real use cases coming out from these yappers as well. Yeah, that's basically what I want to emphasize in the coming several months. Of course, we have some more big planning, but I don't want to spoil the fun for now. I will reserve it for next, episode.
No, that's for me. I'm more if you're an investors. If you're somebody who want to invest your Bitcoin or Doge or the idea of play and earn is more risk-adjusted return, as I mentioned. But I also want to appeal to the developers. If you really believe in decentralization and you think you're going to build something interesting, I think it's common sense not to build it in a very centralized, monopolistic system. Bitcoin is here to stay, is the king. For Bitcoin to stay, the miners need to make money. For miners need to make money, and transaction need to happen. For transaction need to happen, you need solid ecosystems that believe in decentralization and believe in technology. If you can come build with us and have something cool, you position yourself for great future. And I think we are as good as the products we're going to deploy and the unicity. We're not just hooked up to the famous ones. If you have good ideas, call us, come in. We love to listen to good ideas as they come. That's it.
Thank you. Yeah, as you mentioned, it's good to stress that you're trying to attract, not only capital, not only liquidity, but transactions in general, right? Users as well. And then of course, you need developers to help design these experiences to make all that happen. So I want to thank you guys for jumping on, Kevin and Redouane. For the audience, by the time you guys are listening to this, you should have some resources up and available on our platform. Make sure to check them out. And then, as Kevin mentioned, make sure to check out the Goat Network ecosystem page as well. And if you want, write some threads, there might be some rewards waiting for you.
Thank you.
So thank you guys. Thanks for your time.
Mhm.